Mexico is so much more than the country we know today. It has horror and mystery in its core. And today we'll talk about 3 Mexican legends that could get to scare you when you remember them at night. Maybe you have seen the Xaloscuincles in the Disney movie Coco. Dante is that breed of dog. The dog that, according to the Mexica myth, guides the dead to the underworld. Crossing the Apennine River, that's one of the first challenges in order to get to your final resting place. But dogs that you treated well are supposed to guide you throughout your soul's final way. What if you mistreated one of those individuals? We have the next legend from Yucatan titled The Dog and the Cascabel, where a man treated badly his dog. One night, after Cascabel, a demon, seeing how unhappy the dog was, decided to convince him to let him enter to the house and take the man's soul for torture. The dog pretends he is convinced and tells him that once the demon has finished counting how many hairs he has, he may let him enter. Then the dog shakes his body and tells the demon, "I'm sorry, I have fleas, you see. You may have to start counting anew." About 100 of times this happens, and the demon Cascabel finishes saying, "All right, let's see what you've done." Sadly, it is easier to get to a human soul than the fidelity and soul of a dog. Who knows, maybe next time the dog won't have enough fidelity left. A human that transforms into an animal. There have been stories like those in any country and culture. Here the Nahual has an important mission: to terrorize the villages and those who live near. No wonder why there are so many legends and stories of those kind of humans. One story says that there was a farmer that noticed that his harvest and crops had been damaged. The man stayed all night waiting to see if he could find the thief. He was sure it wasn't an animal because of the human footprints he found on the ground. During the night, the man saw a cat entering towards the crops. The cat went out with just a cob of corn, so he didn't care. But the animal did that several times. He stood up and followed it. To his astonishment, he found not a cat at the end of the road, but what appeared to be a donkey. The closer he got, he noticed that the donkey, now scared as if it was caught committing a crime, had no ears nor tail. The man decided to wait if he could see the owner of that animal, but found no one. The strange animal began to flee, so the man shot at it. He didn't hurt the animal, but the animal, or whatever it was, turned and in a human voice warned him, "Stop, or I'll return by night and plug your eyes out." Okay, so this takes us to our last and third legend. Xtab, meaning hang lady, is the first portion of the name Xtabay. Xtabay was a woman that offered her body and beauty to any young person who requested it. And also, she was kind to anyone, a gentle soul. While Utskolel, who is said she was her sister, was considered to be a woman so virtuous because she hadn't been in any love affair. But deep down, she was in fact envious and evil. Xtabay died alone in her house without the people noticing. They only noticed when a weird and surprising nice smell appeared in her lodgings. Her dead body, strangely, smelled pleasant. Envious, her sister Utskolel told everyone that when she died, the smell would be twice as pleasant. Some time later, she died. The people held a grand funeral for her, where everyone evoked her so-called virtues. Only that when her body was on the ground, the smell became unbearable and drove the villagers away, who never stopped talking about the difference in smell between the two dead women. Utskolel, already dead and full of envy, then decided to pretend to be Ishtabai, thinking that just in that way her dead body would smell good. She surrendered to making love with evil spirits, thinking she imitated Ishtabai doings. But she was wrong. Ishtabai gave herself away to kind and real love. Besides, it wasn't because of that she evoked an enjoyable smell. It was because her soul was generous and kind. The difference was clear. Utskolel had no good intentions other than envy. Then, helped by those evil spirits, she returned to the world to attract men. It is said that when you encounter a shtebentun, a flower that resembles the smell that Ishtabai left, Utskolel appears in front of you, pretending to be her counterpart. And if you were curious enough to stay after her apparition, what is left for you would be either torture, sometimes an easy death, or she may drown you, taking you directly into the underworld. Even today, men throughout Yucatan report encounters with a mysterious woman. So if you happen to be in that part of Mexico and you start to suffer from delusions and blurred vision, accompanied by a pleasant smell, well, you better be careful.